the best historical evidence we have for the resurrection of Jesus is the Apostle Paul. I've summarized Dr. Licona's reasoning in the following way. Here it is. First, Paul claims to have seen the risen Christ. Scholars will debate the authenticity of some of the New Testament, but there are 3 letters that Paul wrote that are undisputed among scholars. All the scholars agree Paul wrote that letter. They are 1 Corinthians, Galatians, and Philippians. Now, to be said, we believe Paul wrote all the ones that are in the New Testament, but there's always some cranks in the crowd. So anyway, those 3 are undisputed. And he makes 2 claims in those 3 undisputed letters. The 2 claims that he makes are that he persecuted the church and then he became an apostle, someone that carried the message of Jesus Christ. This is why his claim to have seen the risen Christ carries so much weight. Something has to explain the change from being an enemy to being an apostle. Second, the transformation of Paul is witnessed by a different writer. Luke, here we have in Acts, no less than 3 times tells the story of Paul's conversion. This, seeing the risen Christ, this corroborates Paul's testimony in those 3 letters. Third reason, we have Paul's writings. He wrote most of the New Testament, and in his letters are excerpts of oral tradition that can be traced with a high degree of certainty back to the original apostles. For instance, 1 Corinthians 15, Paul says that over 500 people saw the risen Christ at one time. That claim cannot stand if there's not a direct line back to those people who would have still been alive when Paul wrote that and it went out into the known world. Paul claims to have made contact with the original apostles, specifically Peter and John by name. And again, there's this direct line of transmission to their claims of seeing Jesus raised from the dead. His writings are a profound witness of the truth of the resurrection. Lastly, this is the last argument. That's 4. This is 3. This is 4. Lastly, the church writings of both Clement of Rome and Polycarp. Those men claim to have been mentored by Peter and John personally. Both of them, in their writings, write about Paul, and they put him on the same level as Peter and John. All that taken together means Paul's life and his writings serve as, quote unquote, a super source of historical data corroborated from several directions and sources as being a person who was radically transformed from an enemy of Christ to an uber witness of Christ by the appearing of the risen Christ.